what's up? Welcome back. We've got Edward, our resident Canuck, and we've got JC with us, who it happens to be a Yankee. So it's two Yankees, one Canuck for this show. Chat room is open, everybody. Uh, yeah, Edward brought something up in the green room as we were setting everything up. The talk of the town for the last 18 hours is on the internet, at least. And look, I think a lot of them are doing it because it gets them massive amounts of engagement and clicks,
Yeah.
as the Epstein files. You want to go, Edward?
No, I was just thinking, as far as what people are thinking, as far as actually ever seeing any names on that list being produced, to what all the chatter's about. And I got to say, I don't think we're ever going to see any names or a list or anything. I think that thing's long gone. I think yeah, that ship sailed. We're not seeing anything. What does JC think? You been following that?
JC always looks at the timeline. Can you guys hear me okay?
Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we gotcha.
All right. I usually don't ever need to speak up, so I'll try to contain myself. I do find it very, very, very interesting that those binders showed up right as the big beautiful bill started to be written, and Republicans started to talk about how, there's really no way we're going to be able to do this with such a small majority. And, it's really going to be hard to get those votes, because people in these states, blah, 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 they've got their constituents. And the next thing I know, here's Pam Bondi in a press conference talking about the Epstein files and binders and all the things that are going to be released. And obviously, we didn't get anything released right away. Was it on her desk? Was it not on her desk? Who was under her desk? I
Yeah.
don't know. All right.
Yeah, no, that's
But
I have to agree with, like you said, all that chatter going on, and what they're trying to spin it like. Yeah, there was a bunch of papers on her desk, but it wasn't the list. It was just a bunch of papers she's going through, which I find no. I think the list she
well,
said was there.
Edward, do you find it odd that on the day that the big beautiful bill passed, the announcement comes out that, oh, that Epstein stuff,
Mm.
yeah, we don't know anything.
Yeah, I didn't even think it. As a matter of fact, I forgot all about
I
the
mean,
binder people
does
until that
that
came up.
not does that not feel like this big sword of Damocles hanging over the head of the Congress that you better give me this legislation or I'm going to
No,
spill
no,
it?
no. It does. It does seem like that. Now I don't know if it is, but it does. It's awfully close to sounding like that. It was used almost as, well, actually blackmail against them, even.
Of
So
course.
maybe
Listen,
that's
listen.
true.
Listen, that guy's sister was the smart one, Trump's sister. She says, "Don't ever play any game against him
Yeah.
because he'll win." And you can spend 4 years turning him into the tar baby and showing him everything you've got and denying him everything he wants. And then by some quirk of fate, you give him 4 years off to study how to counter every single thing you did to him and to always be one step ahead of you. And he'll ram it right up your backside. And that's what he just did.
It seems like it. I gotta agree. And yeah, I don't think there's
Well, yeah.
anything.
One of the points I wanted to make though is look, the internet click people, the ones that are all either monetized or they're trying their best to get monetized on whatever platform it is. You can get monetized on pretty much any platform at this point. I This to me obviously just looks like they notice they can get a massive amount of engagement by posting something stupid about it. They don't know anything about it. They haven't been watching it as long as the three of us have been watching it. They're just trying to get clicks, and to that effect,
They're doing it.
it's probably effective for them for whatever their mission is. Their mission is not to help spread truth.
Oh God.
The truth being that we were never going to get this information. It's
I have
no,
to. I have
no,
I didn't
no.
think that at first. I am thinking that now, but as a matter of fact, this one girl on X pointed it out to me that, hey, did you forget about the binder people? With all the people walking all the binders with the government seal on. Oh, we got all the facts right here, and I forgot all about that. She reminded me, so I put a couple posts up to even our friends. I was thinking, hey, did you forget about the? He said, absolutely, Booker. He says, absolutely not. That never left my attention. Something. Well, it did mine, so I'm glad you guys are keeping up. But I thought actually they were going to reveal some names and stuff, but nope. I was totally way off on that one. No, that's gone, and I don't think we ever are now.
I mean, what if you're Donald Trump? What is the upside to chasing after old pedophiles?
Mm,
Politically, what does it get you? It gets you beloved by the people who already love you.
yeah,
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
we get
exactly.
we
yeah,
get the rush of vindication that we see some people we hate go down. I mean, this is the Canuck and the Patriot, and I'm listen. That there's a German word called Schadenfreude. Are you guys familiar with it? It doesn't have an English translation, but it's so totally me. It's pleasure at the discomfort of one's enemies. Okay, so
oh,
I mean,
wow,
did I want the thing read at the Wartburg Castle like the 95 Theses that all you guys are diddling kids? Of course that's what I wanted
Yes.
because they're all phonies, they're all fakes. It's just a big game. It's Game of Thrones larger than life. And yet, what I'm seeing from the president is that, well, of course he's not perfect, but he keeps his eye on the ball. He's only got 4 years, and he knows what he has to do. And he knows that he lost his first 2 years last time and got no legislation at
oh
all
yeah,
except tax cuts for business. That's all he got, and he got that in the lame duck after they gave up and after they knew they had stolen the election. And so then he got his
yeah,
after they'd stolen the midterms. When I say stolen the election, I mean they've stolen every election. I'm sorry, going back to whenever. I mean they're unrepentant and they cheat like bandits. I mean they no holds barred. They cheat in every election all the time. So
I agree.
Mueller muddied him up. Bill Barr declared him, we didn't see anything. And Trump says, okay, game over. No, game just starting. Next thing you know, here comes Lieutenant Donut Vindman, talking about a phone call with Ukraine. And the impeachment starts the week after Mueller gives up.
Yeah.
It
Oh my
happened.
God.
It
And you know what?
happened.
It's so true. And the first 2 years count the most. After that, you're not getting much through after
Well,
after
no, no, no,
the
no, no, no.
primaries.
That what the reason that typically happens is because there's a midterm shift, like the party switch. That doesn't necessarily need to happen this time, and
No,
it's totally possible. I don't think there's going to be a red tsunami. Like, don't watch the
no.
influencers; they're idiots. But I totally believe with all the good. I should have brought some of the videos. All the wins he's had in the last 2 weeks alone.
Oh yeah.
Everyone's gonna go. I want more of that. Give
Mhm.
me more of that. I'm gonna vote for whatever
You guys,
down party
you
ticket.
guys, you guys trade stocks, don't you, from time to time?
Oh
Well,
yeah.
unfortunately,
Yeah,
but yeah,
okay.
I don't want
And
to.
you got a stock that you think should do something and it doesn't do anything, and somebody always says there's more work to do on the downside. And all I can tell you is that Trump almost single-handedly did all the work on the downside to set up that 2 weeks where all of a sudden there's just like this massive breakout and everybody goes, oh, Trump's hot, Trump's hot. If the guy hadn't walked through the equivalent of the sewers of Paris, and anyone who's read Les Miserables or watched the play understands carrying the nation on his back, just enduring whatever it was. I mean, not to digress too much, but my favorite
Yeah.
moment was when that stupid Trump judge, for lack of a better term, before Boasberg, there was what was his name? The guy in New York. Who even knows what his name was? Some Jewish guy. You know, I don't even know what his name was, but he put a gag order on it. You're gagging the defendant. So what does he do? He pulls out the friggin' newspaper and starts reading it before he goes into court to tell you what the opinion writers are saying about what's happening in his trial to evade the gag rule. I haven't had more fun watching the news read to me since I first figured out who Walter Cronkite was. God, that was funny. I'm just sitting there in a trance laughing. This is so funny. God, he's two steps ahead of these clowns. All and here's Comey on. Oh, well, we could put a double wide up at Rikers Island and put him in a mobile home. And I'm like, you guys, you guys have no idea who you're dealing with. And Van Jones finally said it out loud. He says, "Look, we can all sit here and talk about Trump this, Trump that." He says he's smarter than all of us. He says we are no match for him.
That's the first
And,
true thing
and it
Van
took
Jones
the
said.
air out of the room. He's right.
Yeah.
He's right. This guy is two steps ahead of you all the time. And to just keep the stream of consciousness, and then I'll turn over the floor. This stuff with the amnesty, and here's the same discredited influencers. And Sean, I did not have the discrediting of influencers on my bingo card in 2025, but they have made fools of themselves. And I mean, guys that I respected. I mean, Alex Jones, Tucker Carlson, they look stupid. I
You're
mean, they
right.
look like they don't know what's going on.
They
And
really
of
do.
course, what they're doing is they're digging in. And it's like, haven't you guys seen what the liberals are doing? You don't dig in against this guy. You just don't. You
Mm-hmm.
wait and see
No.
what's going on. So I hear the stuff about the farm workers. And then all of a sudden I hear they're talking about a strike in California from the guys that normally pick the crops. Well, that doesn't include illegals. That includes the guys that are in the unions. They're trying to capitalize on deportation to get higher wages, and then they'll go on strike and let the food rot in the fields. That is the nightmare scenario that would end Trump's coalition. And he knows that. So he's going to work around it with illegal crop pickers and let those guys know, no, you are not going to go on strike. You're not going to starve America. You're not. That strike will be settled now. And you won't hear any more about amnesty.
Wow.
Oh, so I agree, but I did want to point something out. Trump, we've known if you are new to Trump world, you didn't pay you maybe you were too young, you didn't pay attention, politics didn't matter to you. For more than 4 years ago when he was president, Trump beta test stuff. So he threw something out there and let people chomp on it, which was we might have to do a little something different in our policy for hotel and farm
Yeah,
workers. And he wanted that beta test to come back with a response, and the response was overwhelming. No, if they're here illegally, they are all equal illegally in the country. Deport them. And so he goes, we're absolutely going to deport them. He beta tests ideas live in front of an audience and lets the whole internet erupt over it.
but believe me, there won't be mass deportations for crop pickers until that strike doesn't happen.
Right.
There won't.
No,
They'll be
you're right.
targeted.
You're
I mean,
right. I'm
there's
just pointing
20
out
million.
that
You don't have to take out farm workers.
Not yet.
I'm
Yeah,
just
they'll do
pointing
everybody
out
else but them
that
last.
I'm just pointing out that Trump beta tests almost all of his ideas. What I guess what people get messed up in is what Trump says. Don't pay attention to what Trump says unless you're getting clicks to get monetized. I'm
Yeah.
sure that's very successful. It's what the end result is. Trump said he was going to end the Russia-Ukraine war on day one. I never believed that for a second. I
No,
never believed it
but
for a
but
second.
does anybody think about it anymore?
No. I think most of
I
the
still
guys
see people on
I
the
did.
internet that's one of their things they did in clicks. I thought he was going to end the war in one day.
Well, you know
Yeah,
what?
listen. So, like, if you're really a MAGA voter or a conservative voter or a Republican voter or a libertarian who leans right, because libertarians, I don't know where the hell you go. Chase Oliver, Jesus Christ, what was
I know.
that?
Wow.
Uh,
Yeah.
don't
That's
listen to the words out of Trump's mouth. Look at the results he delivers.
Yeah.
and
You're going to be
sometimes
happy. You're going to be
yeah, yeah.
happy with the results.
I think sometimes he gives us hints, with saying some things, and then you'll get hit with it. A month later, he's almost like warned you, and then there was no surprises because it's actually happening now, and a few other things. I wasn't even. I wasn't even counting on the Pakistan East Indian war being solved or struggle being settled. That was a new thing that happened last week. I think I can't remember now, but that just came out of nowhere. That and a couple other ones that he's already settled, except for the Ukraine war. And I don't even know how that money laundering thing's going to end. Or what's going on because it's not much war, but a lot of money's been changing hands. I'm telling you.
Well, a, appropriation is another word for graft.
No.
You
Yeah.
know, I mean, the money flows back into DC or Swiss bank accounts.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what happens.
That neutral country, Switzerland, which is anything has anything but been neutral.
Oh,
Most
there's
We talked
most
more
about that.
layers.
We talked
Seneca
about
most
that.
too.
most corrupt
Yes.
people in the world. They're
Really
horrible.
is worse than Ukraine, and people thought Ukraine was worse.
Oh
They don't
yeah.
even know anything. And you know what? We talked about this long ago on X, John. Remember? Maybe you were there, JC, about Switzerland. How we were always taught in school that it's absolutely a neutral country. Why are you putting those emphasis so much and so hard on Switzerland being a neutral country? Why is this
Well, they
school?
just didn't want to get their ass kicked in a war, so
Well, that
they
could be
played
true.
possum.
Yeah, but they were so
They
dirty.
it's where they parked all the money, and
Yeah, they
Yes,
did,
took money from both
yes.
sides. Yeah,
and that's how they
and
financed the
none of the
war.
bad guys wanted to lose their money.
Correct.
Yeah,
And so,
so
yeah,
they
that's
agreed to go
exactly.
along with it. Yeah,
Now you know the role of Switzerland. Yep, they were fencing all the artwork and all the gold and silver to turn into cash to finance the war. And yeah, you already know this. But anyways, yeah, horrible country. Basel's there. I don't know if you know Basel three. As far as the gold and silver being tier one assets now, not the American dollar, not stocks and bonds like it was, two and three. Now gold from tier three is now a tier one asset. And all the countries are now trying to collect all. And that's why I laugh at these XRP and these stupid crypto people. Oh, it's
no,
the most important. No. Why are all the banks running after tons and tons of gold to store in their countries instead of the computer system? Because it's all still going to be based off of what? Real money, which is the dollar,
right,
gold and silver.
a real asset, right? And
Exactly.
I hate to break it to all the baby boomers, but all of you that suddenly think that you're millionaires because of your real estate prices, you're
Yeah.
not.
Yeah.
You're
Mm,
not.
not
And
at all.
You
that's
wait.
over.
Yeah.
That's over.
You
Okay. I
wait
mean,
6 more months.
Trump wants to make it housing available for middle class people, and that means that these valuations are not going to last.
No.
Do you
Black
think
market.
if you deport 20 or 30 or maybe 40 million illegals that have come in over the last, let's say, 20 years, is like all of a sudden there going to be a massive amount of housing available for people that's probably pretty cheap?
Yeah.
Well, gotta
And
be.
Mike Lee had as usual. It's a multi-part solution. Mike Lee's idea about using some of the federal land, which probably should be done. You can do it. You can do it by 5 or 6 moves instead of just one big grandiose thing, which everybody always looks for. And it's just like his energy policy. Romney and Obama just lied about, oh, we'll just take it from all sources. No, all you're going to try to do is subsidize wind and solar, so we don't have any electricity, and then you're gonna let the tech bros open their little nuclear site, so they can have electricity, and the rest of us can have rolling blackouts.
Yeah.
It's
That's
all
more like
so
it.
obvious.
Yeah.
It is, and they all lied, but he didn't. He wants energy available for the American economy, and we will have it,
On
and it will
demand,
also
right?
greatly benefit Canada. And I think Canada is going to be able to help the United States with water in the West too. Alberta, isn't there some glaciers up there, Edward? I mean, honest to
Yeah.
God, glaciers.
We have more water than anybody else on the planet. We are the country with the
You got
most
so much water.
water. I know.
That's why he thinks of Canada as a strategic asset, because we're
But
going to need water too. I mean, the aquifers
send
in the
it
West
by all
are
means.
lowering. So let's go where the water is. Okay, you want to be the 51st state? Let's get Al Gore up there with some hair dryers to melt the
Yeah.
glaciers.
I can't. I still can't stand that guy. Al Gore. Oh my God.
He's such an once
What a
again we
grifter.
keep everybody wants that big Schadenfreude moment where Gore is discredited. That isn't what happens. It's the old soldiers never die; they just fade away. That's what happens. They just become less and less relevant, and nobody cares what they say. And Gore
I'm
is
so
on the path to oblivion.
No,
I
I'm
don't think
guilty
anybody
still.
along with
younger
so many
than
others.
I don't think anybody younger than 30 would even respond to his posts. It's us
Right.
that put something clever out there. Because I said back to him today, I fell for it. I posted underneath him. I said, yeah, I don't know who he's talking to because I got sucked out the ozone from the hairspray taking away
Oh
the
God.
ozone.
Yeah, chlorofluorocarbons 11 and 12. Yeah,
Oh, come on.
that was a stupid
Everything,
scam.
every,
Way back
everything he
then.
said has been disproven.
Yeah,
And he
yeah.
just keeps going on and on about it. And other than Zoran Mondami, nobody believes it. And even Zoran doesn't believe it. He just says it while he's proposing his $30 minimum
Oh,
wage.
yeah, of course.
Oh yeah, yeah, that'll
Yeah.
help New York, right?
No.
No, really
Hey,
drive
by the
down
way, New
home
York,
for
New Yorkers, if that happens to you, New York City, I'm going to tell you, North Carolina is the worst state you could possibly ever move to. We're just super poor. The alligators will eat you when you walk out the door to go to work. It's a terrible place. Don't come here.
I listen.
someone's
I have my
lying.
2 alligator Alcatraz T-shirts coming.
So
I'll
I
wear
was
it next
Love
thinking,
week.
that.
dude, that'll be awesome. I was thinking about that in honor of Rush Limbaugh. Shouldn't we call it Club Gator
A good one.
as opposed to Club Gitmo?
Wouldn't that be a good one?
Yeah,
Yeah. And we could all wear
Club Gator. I'm thinking
our
maybe I
gator
should go over to the
shirts.
T. Maybe I should go over to the screen printers and get some Club Gator shirts.
Maybe Lacoste, whose stocks have gone up and their gator clothing has been outpacing what they've been producing. I don't know. Got to find that out. I'm buying more. So yeah, there you go. Got to have more of it. Not that I wanted to get us off track on all this political stuff. I just wanted to just
awesome.
briefly touch on it. And here we are off in the weeds. I still wanted to go back to the medical stuff that we were talking about. Oh God, that was months ago now. I can't remember how long ago we started on the fendembazole, I think it was. We started on
Yeah.
and didn't even get far on that. And yeah, you know what? My friend passed away. He bought the expensive $16,000 a month medication. Didn't work. Uh, you know, I don't know. Maybe the ivermectin, hydrochloroquine, that type of thing might be tops right now. I don't even know what you're talking about as the fendemazole, dissolve. But it probably is anti-parasitic in some way. Lead us off. Tell us what you got. What are we supposed to know about this?
Well, where we left off was the idea that when I hear, uh, not to, I don't want it to be a stem winder, but when I hear everyone talking about research being cut, I'm like, folks, they're not even researching anything that we need.
No, I believe that.
Sorry, they're not. It's all approved science. It's all to get the outcome they want to get funded. I mean, basically, they're scientific influencers. That's what they are. And
Yep.
if you didn't see that, if you were on Twitter during COVID, how everyone who worked for a university or public health person or whatever just stonewalled you and absolutely lied to your face. Okay, and oh, not everybody could be in on it. I've given you guys this stat one other time. Pfizer made $100 billion in 2022, 100 with a B. That's 227 million for each of 435 congressional districts.
Yeah. Wow. I
And the
forgot about
and
that.
the
That's right.
Chinese communists bought off the president for less than 30 million. So you don't think 227 million is enough to buy off Marjorie Taylor Greene's district? Really?
Yeah.
No, but not everybody can be in on it. No, just the gatekeepers. They're
Hmm.
the ones that are in on it. And
Yeah.
it's been psyop after psyop since World War II in nearly every aspect of the economy. And call me a conspiracy theorist, call me whatever you want. I just look at what's happened. Big media, big media, big pharma, the biopharmaceutical complex, the defense industrial complex, just on one big ag, one big monolith after another manages their part of the economy to screw the American taxpayer to the max and to dump the stuff cheap overseas. So while I'm not in favor of price controls, I'm absolutely in favor of Trump's most favored nation on pharmaceuticals. Yeah, we'll make the cheapest price you're willing to let that go in Germany. That's the price we want. There's no reason for us to be subsidizing that. And what that means is that, hey, Germans are going to have to pay more, or the Swiss, Sean, the Swiss are going to have to pay more for life saving medications while we pay less and while the market evens out. That's called a market that'll work. See?
Yeah.
And if you keep the idea of a market in your head, you can deploy the purchasing power of the federal government to create a market that is a leveling wind. That's what Trump does. He's a wind that blows and levels all the potentates down to the same level we're at.
And
And
he's
no,
doing it.
we're not cuffing the big guys yet. We may. I mean, hey, you know what? It did cross my mind that I think DOJ's probably been on a leash until that big beautiful bill got passed. That's why Cash Patel sounds like Christopher Wray.
Yeah.
Although I admit I'm hedging my bets. I've changed my screen name. You guys know me as Bitch McCommunist.
Seen it.
The old fossil's been retired. I'm now counterfeit cash.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I hadn't seen your post today. If I did, well, no, I didn't see a post today. That's awesome.
Yeah, but
That's
I
great.
even was able to keep my blue check. I figured I better do it quickly before the man child who has 14 kids and really bad impulse control starts thinking about banning me.
Dude, wait. On that, so we talked about it briefly last night too, but I had neither of you. All of these people that are like, I'm abandoning ship. I'm going to True Social, and I'm like,
What?
that's cool.
I
Oh
know.
my
I heard
god,
rumors of that.
lots and lots of people on X, and like, we can't handle the man child. He's gonna ban us. We have to have True Social accounts. I'm like, I've been on True Social since it started. Hi. I'm also on Getter and I'm on everything. To secure myself, but I don't use any of them.
No, me neither.
I use X, but they're all flipping out, and that's one of the things. And I'm like, you're gonna realize, just like all the liberals who went to Blue Sky,
Okay. Bruce.
and found that they were in an echo chamber and they hated it, so they came back to X. You're all going to find the same thing, right wingers, and you're going to go, this place sucks. I'm coming back to X.
Well,
So,
I don't think
okay,
suck is the
great.
word. Boring would be the word as you used before. And I have to say that's
It's,
probably exactly what's
it's,
happening. So, here,
Okay,
Truth has
yeah.
always been boring to me. Have I always had an account? Yes. But it's super boring.
yeah,
What are
that's
you
why.
gonna? So somebody posts a news
I mean,
story from Gateway Pundit, and you're like, I don't really give a shit about Gateway Pundit. Thanks.
They're right.
Scroll on. Okay,
Yes.
now somebody's got a post from Daily Wire that they're sharing.
oh,
Not original content. They're just
Epoch Times.
reposting
you
us,
mean,
and you're like, this is boring as shit. Why the
Mm-hmm.
fuck did I log in today?
All
hey,
right.
Has Daily Wire changed their tagline to Israel first?
Ah, Jesus. I wish.
That would be truth in advertising.
There, yeah. Good one. Yeah.
And all the dooming, and I know I keep going on about these guys. If Trump Richard Barris, I mean the guy is smart, okay, but he's from New
Who?
York and he's New York stubborn. You know, he started smelling his own farts, you know, and going on and on about how he's the guy who coined the phrase the Trump only voter. I'm one. I am a Trump only voter. When someone asked me would I be supporting Trump after 2020, I said, who the hell else should I support? Oh, well, it's time for DeSantis. I said, have you seen his energy policy? I said, he's all in on wind and solar in Florida. I
Yeah.
said, he said, you got to be kidding. He's in the pocket of big
Yeah.
pharma. He immediately starts calling Putin a war criminal. I said, what's the difference between DeSantis and Nikki Haley?
Mm.
I mean, functionally nothing. Well, why do you say that? Because he's an elected politician. Don't you understand what happens to those people? Look,
Yeah,
look,
Section.
those people on, okay, go to the Epstein list to bring it full circle, and then I'll shut up a little bit. Uh, Look at all of those our political leaders that have been to that island, and I want to scream at them.
Yeah.
How do you think they became our political leaders?
Yeah. No, good one.
They
Control it right off
knew
the hop.
somebody who took them there. They got the video. They're Hey, you want to run for office? We think
You're
you've
in.
got the right stuff.
Mm-hmm.
We'll fund you. Pay it.
You got the right stuff, kid.
Funding.
That's
Yeah,
funny.
well, besides whatever else happened, but funding, right? We'll fund this.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
let's
just like
go.
Fox was
Wait.
going to fund DeSantis.
Let's let
Yeah,
let's go to the not going to be successful American Party. They're going to have all the funding they need, but let's look at the Libertarian Party, the Green Party, the you just name them, and let's ask how successful those have been at running third parties. So we've got
No third
uh,
party.
Rand Paul has to run as a Republican. Thomas Massey has to run as a Republican. There's nobody at the federal level that's been successful as a libertarian.
No.
And people will go, Ron Paul. And I'll go, well, Ron Paul actually dropped out if you don't know this. And then he said, "Oh shit!" And I'm gonna come back, and everyone was like, "Ha ha ha, loser! Not a chance."
Hey,
That was
guys.
their one chance at the federal level, and Ron Paul
listen,
screwed them on that.
you're going to break Eva's heart if you keep talking like that.
I get it.
I
Dissing
know.
Ron Paul. Yeah,
I know.
I
Hey,
get it. But the listen, I like the fact that they want to be limited government. I don't like the fact that they really like transgenders and smoking weed.
no, there's a lot of
Like
things.
that's what your platform is when Trump is talking about we need to
Wow.
build an economy, and you're like trannies and weed.
Did you see the person who had the face for that? You mentioned their name earlier on. Why would you pick that
Chase
person
Oliver,
to
who
the,
walks around
yeah.
naked in a
uh,
leather dog mask in pride parades.
And they're going to
That's who
lead
you
you.
put up for president?
Correct, and that's going to lead you to the promised land. What a stupid! That's why that they're even dumber than dumb. If you're going to use that as your lead face, for your no,
liber.
absolutely not.
Oh, I just looked. Zero libertarians have unfollowed me because they don't follow me to begin with.
No, they don't. They don't. In fact, that they don't. They don't. They actually don't have enough conviction to follow you.
Now,
They're busy sucking up to clowns like Richard Hanania, who I finally got. Hey, I finally got him to block me. It was
that is a badge of honor
That's
right
a
there.
win. Dude,
That
print
is a
yeah.
that
win.
shit out and put it on the fridge.
I still like Rush Limbaugh's definition of the libertarian, though. I really
Do
got
you
to
remember
stick with
what it
that.
is? Because you can never remember what it is.
I think it is. It is a libertarian is a Democrat who doesn't realize it yet.
Very close.
Okay, what is it then?
A libertarian is a liberal who doesn't know it yet.
Right. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay.
true. Either way, it rings so true because it is true, and that's why they would run a person as their face of recognition as that person did because they just don't know any better. They don't know any different. That's how far behind the eight ball they really are, and who's going to vote them in office? Well, I mean,
You guys mentioned Rand Paul. Okay,
uh,
Rand Paul is clean cut. No one thinks of him as particularly strong, but he is smart, and he's an idea guy, and I have a certain amount of admiration for him. But
Yep.
fundamentally, he is incoherent. He and Massey are both incoherent, and here's what I mean. He goes on and on about, I can't support this bill. This is too much spending. We can't afford to do this. And yet you are in favor of open borders.
I know.
There's nothing on this earth more expensive than open borders. So
And
fundamentally, you, sir, are incoherent.
I
That
would say
doesn't make any sense.
correct. And I would further and say that you, sir, Rand Paul, if that's who we're talking about, is an idiot because there's no way you can have a country that can survive.
He let's
Yeah,
no,
not a
and
country
I
that
think JC's
survives.
correct. So Thomas Massey and Rand Paul both are actually very intelligent in
Yes,
their personal lives. No, no, I know, I get it, Edward. But the problem is it's the whole morals thing. Morals. I have to vote this down, even if it's going to create more good than bad,
Yeah,
right?
and
Because they
I
had a
know.
moral issue with
might I
Trump getting
add
in this bill.
that Mr. Massey was given and Edward's probably seen me write this. Mr. Massey had the key vote on the Rules Committee that allowed McCarthy's debt surrender to get to the House floor. And one of the guarantees that Gates and the rest of the gang got was that we'd be in control of rules. So that sort of legislation wouldn't see the light of day the way Pelosi ran the House. That crap doesn't even, something she didn't want, didn't even get a vote. And she did it in the Rules Committee because the Rules Committee made sure it never made it to the floor.
Yeah.
And I'm okay. We got it bottled up. You know, this is fine. McCarthy's got the high ground. We've passed. We got 220 votes. We've actually got some spending cuts. We reduced the deficit. It's like a 2-year thing or whatever it was. It wasn't great, but it was better. It was something. But obviously, McCarthy had made a side deal with the caucus that, yeah, we'll go ahead and do this, but just get it out of rules and I'll go and surrender and then we'll get what we really want. And
Hey,
Messi gave that key vote. Sorry, I got the index finger out. This is the German. And
Do
then
it.
he says, oh, but we'll fix it in appropriations.
so yeah.
What can I say? There are so many expletives in my head. Oh yeah, like we do every year, right, Tom? Like we're not going to have another omnibus. Oh sure, we'll fix it in those individual spending bills, right? What a lie! I mean, and how can you even say that? And then he's on Fox. He does his Fox hit and Laura Ingraham is. Oh Tom, if they were all like you, baloney.
No.
Come on, really. I
I,
mean, that guy's on your side. You
yeah.
know the Samuel Adams quote about lay down your arms and go. No, it's a Henrietta Agincourt. Lay down your arms and depart from us in peace. We want neither your counsel nor your arms, and may posterity forget you were our countrymen. That's what I think of Thomas Massey.
Wow.
Right, Ma. Morals. I'm gonna repeat that over and over for until
Yeah,
the
but
primaries.
amoral, amoral, because
Morals.
while you're morally grandstanding, you allow amoral legislation to pass.
See, and
And
Every
you
time.
actually
I gotta
don't.
go.
You suspend the debt ceiling for Joe Biden,
Yeah,
and then you say Trump's running up the debt.
Mm.
Come on.
I gotta go back here. I think Elon is new to politics. Very smart guy too, in his own way, but
Hmm.
very new to
Yes,
politics. And he thinks he can create a Gates 8 or something like that that can block or change or do things. And I don't think he's gonna find success in that. I don't.
two
And if
percent,
you look
two
at the
percent or
people
less.
who are, if you
What?
look, 2% or less might be enough to block things, but if temporarily.
Right.
But
And what
I think
committees? What committees are they going to get on to block them?
Yeah.
it would be. I don't know. I know. No, you're right, and that's my point. Matt Gates, the Gates 8 was actually very successful in getting things done, whether you liked it or not. Whether you thought
I loved
getting
him.
rid of Kevin
I know that's a big
McCarthy,
surprise.
whether you thought getting rid of Kevin McCarthy was great or dumb, uh, they were they were able to do things. I don't think Elon's going to have the success at building a caucus. I don't.
And you know what, guys? I don't have. I definitely think having a third, fourth, fifth, sixth. It's not going to help. Having a third party is the dumbest thing. And that was
We've
already
already
mentioned.
got 9 third parties.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they have no
Huh.
success. The
Well, then,
libertarians would be
why
the
would
most
they?
spoke about. The Green Party, the Orange Party,
Uh,
there's so many
why
of
why
them.
is this big talk about this new third party? What's that going to do then? If you're just going to start some whimsical party that's going to have like three members and grow to maybe 10,000 and sink. I mean, what's even the point
I,
to having all that hype? In dividing
I've had
votes
some.
against the
I've
Democrats.
had some. I've had some nubile young ladies say to me, he might be successful. I said, I said, you realize he wants to merge you with a robot?
Good line.
Yeah,
I
And I don't even know if he ever got in power, if that would even accelerate, that, well, who knows? But yeah,
okay.
that's a big possibility.
Once,
Good
once
grief.
again, Edward, I look at the timing. His
Yeah.
temper tantrums, Musk's temper tantrums are timed with every time he lost something that he wanted, like that EV mandate and the big beautiful bill, and he came unglued.
Yeah.
But then once he realized that AI moratorium on regulation was still in play and the bill, he calmed down. And then the day after he lost that, then he went completely gone. I
Yeah.
mean, it
And
was
you know what?
he thought, hey, Trump. Here was the play. Trump got shot. Man, that was really badass. He's gonna win. So I got to get in there. And yeah, I can throw 250 million at it, whatever, and then I'll be the good billionaire, and then they'll play ball with me and give me what I want.
He was probably going to anyways, even if that didn't happen. It doesn't matter. He's probably going to give that anyways, just to help things, so he could get, the mandate that he wanted. And let's face it, I'm not an EV guy. I think it's the dumbest thing we ever came up with, because we definitely don't have the grid that's going to. We can't even have air conditioners going in the summertime without having rolling brownouts. Now you want to charge cars at the same? No, it's not going to work out until you get this. And you know what? If we started today, we wouldn't have, probably in 15, 20 years, we wouldn't have enough infrastructure in place, to have all these charging stations and batteries and all the nickel.
Remember, Edward, fundamentally incoherent. Ron
Yeah,
DeSantis'
yeah, you
energy
did say that.
energy policy is
Yeah.
fundamentally incoherent with modern
Mhm.
life.
No, you already
And
mentioned that.
I'd
Yeah.
have guys
So,
start arguing, "Oh, Trump's done, Trump's done." I said, "You're out of your mind. Trump,
hmm
you're out of your mind. Trump's got at least 20% that will only vote for him. They're not gonna put up with this." And to close the loop on Barris, he was the guy that coined the term Trump only voter. And I kept looking around and I'm like, you know what, this guy's really smart. He gets it. And you could see that the further away Trump was from the ballot, the less successful MAGA was. If Trump's on the ballot, then all of a sudden all these races start going his way.
no,
There
that's
is
right.
a Trump only voter. Now,
I'd be one of those,
stay,
by the way,
hell yeah, stay
just
with
to be
me,
clear.
gentlemen. All that bedwetting about bombing Iran, okay, or Iranian war, or whatever. Trump's gonna split his base. Oh my God, that's gonna be it for MAGA. And I'm thinking to myself, with what Mossad has obviously done in Iran, I mean, they blew up at 4,000 Hezbollah guys, blew their nuts off literally with those pagers at
Remember that.
5:35 in the morning.
Yeah.
And then they start sending drones in the window of the apartments of members of the Revolutionary Council and blow them up, and they don't even lose electricity in the next apartment. And okay,
Yep.
so they've got that sort of operational control in Iran, and you think a few bunker busters is going to split Trump's face? No, it's going to make him look like a fucking badass.
It already did,
Yeah.
though. That
And
was
now
a
there's
sign that.
peace. Even
What?
though Bibi's not happy, Bibi still wants a war, but there's a ceasefire. Iran ain't going to fight anybody.
Not
No
now.
way. No
No.
way. They'd have to be fools.
Well, you also have to. All right, we could move in this direction real quickly, or we could just move in it forever. I don't really care. You're also looking at American technology. So, the pagers, yes, we were involved. The drone attacks, U.S. was totally involved, both in Iran, both and in Russia.
Yeah, Ukraine
So
showed us that our drones work pretty
when
well
that
too, and they
operation
took
went
out.
off
Uh,
in Russia, it was obviously it was a test case for what BB was going to do with approval from our intelligence agency.
yeah,
This
but
is all
likely not from the
American war
president. Yeah,
technology.
yeah, but likely not from the president. I do find it
Yeah.
interesting that Israel shows you how superior American warfare technology is when you fight to win.
Well, of course,
Right?
we've been saying that for a long time too, right?
Well, and my problem with Israel is they show off too much of American technology. Ours is supposed to be surprise technology
It still
in
is.
case we need to use. Nah, Listen, you already saw we can just lift drones out of surprise areas.
out of an
These have
old
50.
truck.
They have 15-minute battery life, but we could store them inside of an old truck for 5 years,
Hmm.
and just wait to launch them and get them within 15 minutes of flight time. I we're the American
You think
it,
you think the Chinese communists didn't notice that?
Oh
oh,
yeah,
I'm
very
sure they
much
did.
so. We
A
know it.
lot of people did.
Yeah, yeah.
A lot of people did.
Which they
I'm
probably.
sure. I'm sure little Rocket Man Kim Jong Un was like, "What the
I know.
holy?"
Yep.
Notice how quiet they've all got.
Yeah.
And I even hear maximum leader Xi is going to be out by the fall.
From China?
I know
What?
that. No, Xi Jinping's going to be out by the fall. The people want him out.
Really?
They
I
wanted him
didn't
out for a long time.
No, no,
have
no.
no
But they're
idea.
going to get him now. No, they're going to get him now.
Well,
Mm.
hopefully you're right,
I
but
mean, I know
hopefully,
that's going to really let little Castro down. What's he going to do with his Chairman
uh,
Mao suit?
yeah, yes, yes. Oh my God. Uh, we could actually carry on as we are, or get back into the Fendemzo that we were supposed to be talking about. That's up to you
Okay.
guys. I don't care.
Well, wait,
Well,
you
my
don't want to
sister.
talk about how you're still a colony of Great Britain?
Well, I'm just hoping that Trump did put that line in the sand that Obama did, 8 years ago in terms of
Oh, Obama did
Ukraine.
a great job of
Oh my
getting you
God, what an
guys to get
idiot!
your independence.
Put his line in the
Look,
sand here, and they just laughed at him and
we're
just
just gonna
crossed
like
over.
for 2 minutes pick on Canada and say, dude,
Yeah,
there's a Declaration of Independence that we wrote. Copy and paste it, send it to the king.
correct. Yeah, and we're out. And hopefully Trump did put that line in the sand there where it says, "No, Canada's ours. Get lost, beat it, scram. You had your chance, and look what you did to the country."
Don't count on. I'm saying to the Canadian people who there are watchers. I see it because when I get analytics that shows what countries people watch from. To the
Hmm.
Canadian watchers, this one's on you. You have to declare independence,
Right.
even if you do it from Alberta and start there.
Well, we got the
This
That's
West
the
can't
now.
that.
be this can't be Orange King coming in to save you
No,
from the British King.
No,
correct.
that's Sean. That's a great point. And if you look at what Trump is doing everywhere, he's not going in to liberate the Iranian people from the mullahs. They have to do it.
Of
He's
correct.
not going to liberate. He's not going to liberate Taiwan from Xi. The Taiwanese have to do it. He didn't lift a
Yes.
finger when the Chi-Com stole the Korean election. He didn't lift a finger to do anything about it, and it was obvious that it was stolen. And there's Bannon huffing and puffing. And I'm like, what do you want? What do you want him to do, Steve? Regime change?
Yeah, that's what America's not going to do now. And
That's
besides,
right.
if the people don't put their full heart into it, and this is what I say, Independence Day, or as you call it, the 4th of July, which I don't even know why you changed that. Well, I think
I call it Independence Day. You're
I
watching too
call it.
much
and
Canadian
it is.
broadcast.
How tough it was, what the Americans were faced with back in those days. It took a lot of heart, a lot of courage, a lot of everything. The people pretty much have to stand up, against that, and America did that. And that's why, America is so very to be worshipped today, because they actually had the gall and the guts, to actually go through with that and start that. Canada has to do the same thing. And, nowadays, from what we've seen, go back 4 years
You guys,
ago.
you realize you guys could have come along with us back then. You know that.
You know what? I have no idea why the people. What really makes it
Well,
amazing is
seriously, in 1812, you were trying to fight us.
I
What
know.
the
Yeah,
fuck, bro?
Don't get it.
yeah. That
Don't
was
get
your
it.
that was your chance.
Yep. The whole
Right?
North America could have been. Well, actually, no, because we still had the French
I
fighting.
mean,
Yeah, that was
listen.
kind of that was a
You
screwy
think
system.
you think Andrew Jackson wouldn't have ridden up there himself and done it? I mean, seriously, you had
Oh
old
yeah,
Hickory in your corner. Yeah,
we already had Toronto pretty much burnt out when they burnt the White House. America came over here, burnt half the city of Toronto, or what was it called, North York then. So yeah, to the ground. So I mean, it was a tit for tat there. That would have been the perfect time and opportunity But how many Americans left America and came up here to be with the crown? And then how many Canadians from here went to the States? It just seemed to be this. And even my part of my family came from Pennsylvania and moved to Canada. Why in the heck did they do something stupid like that? Of course, it's not as retarded as it is today, mind you, but and back then a lot more.
The Pennsylvania Presbyterians are
Uh,
the descendants of original separatists.
Yes,
those.
exactly.
Let me tell you something. Those Germans, and I've confessed. I'm a bit hard headed, as you can tell. But if you didn't speak
We all
German
are.
in early Pennsylvania, you got shot.
If what? Say that again.
If you
What?
didn't speak German in early Pennsylvania, you got shot.
Yeah.
When Webster put together the dictionary, that was his goal. He absolutely could not. English had to be the language, and in Pennsylvania they were going with German.
I
And
Mhm.
he's going to force it. And he did it culturally, but that was the motivation, because everywhere the Germans go, the first thing they build is their church. The second thing is their school. The third thing is their brewery.
Yep. No,
And
probably mine over too.
I've got a bottle of Yingling right here. Yeah, America's first brewery. Yeah.
You know Heineken, sir?
Duh.
And
My
by
favorite.
the way, in case
Holland.
anybody wonders where the hell Corona came from Germans settling in Mexico and going, who can drink this stuff down here? We got to take something out of here to make it drinkable.
Yeah. No. That's an
Uh,
unbelievable story. I believe that.
did you
It's
see
true.
that thing going around? We still got about 7 minutes left. The thing going around that people, obviously, they were probably leftists, posting a map of Mexico owning most of the Southwest of
Yeah,
America at one point in time. And I
they have a
said,
name for it. Yeah,
yeah, I said, and they're like, "Yeah, we should just take our country back." And I laughed. I laughed to myself. I was like, "You realize that wasn't Mexican land? That was Spanish land because you
yeah,
fuckers were conquered."
Yeah.
yeah. Well, I've always wondered this. Why you know about Cortez and Amerigo Vespucci and all those
Cortez
guys?
the Killer.
Yeah.
Yup.
So why is Spanish the language of the conquistadors? Why is it preferred and English is the language of oppression?
Well, I've never thought that was a language of oppression. That's news to me. But
Hey,
Well, that's
Mexico.
no, no, no,
what?
no,
Hey,
no, no, you colonizer.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
sorry. Conquista, right? Why isn't Cortez the
conquistadors. Yeah.
Killer known as a colonizer?
Listen, how dare Cortez come in there and interrupt them from throwing virgins and kids in volcanoes? What
Ah,
a rude guy.
I know. And the gold and silver trade was off the top of the
I
charts
get
back in those days.
when I
Wow.
do that when I do that with liberals, they get as pissed as my stepdaughters used to when they'd go on about the Indians and oh my God, Andrew Jackson. I go, it would have helped the Indians a lot if they would have invented a wheel.
Where did the hey wait where did the Indians get guns?
What do you mean where? From us. What are you talking about?
Yeah, they had bows and arrows.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
We
yeah, I'm
sold them. We
asking
sold them.
where did they get guns?
We sold them the
Wasn't it
guns.
by the wasn't it by the
That was
Western Europeans?
that was the early military industrial complex. They always armed both sides. They wanted to
Oh,
give the Indians a
very
fighting chance. Custer said thanks. Yeah,
good.
Yeah, hey, could you take them out for us? You'll be the front of the line.
Very
yeah.
good. Oh my God. Yeah, you know what? There's not much time to get back into medicine right now. We're gonna have to do an actual show just on
I
medicine
can
now.
I give you an update on my sister's health. She finished her chemotherapy. Of course, she ignored me, but she does say that if it comes back, she'll take the febendazole. So there you go.
There's a good story.
What
We need
two
to know
hundred
more
fifty
about
two
that.
hundred fifty thousand dollars later instead of $250? Yeah.
Yeah,
Jesus,
I know. Big swing
that's
for
crazy.
doing the same thing, only a lot simpler and cheaper and a lot quicker, taking a couple pills rather than going through all that ruckus and you
Oh
know
no, Edward, you don't understand. This shit's all horse paste.
what's that? It's all what?
Horse paste.
Oh,
It's horse
Horse
not
paste.
paste.
oh, yeah, yeah. It's just
It's
for
horse
You
Andrew.
realize
paste.
I've heard
you
that.
realize
That's retarded. You
You
know,
realize
oh,
the FDA had to be sued to take that off their website? That's how dug in they were.
really? Oh my
Yeah.
God, yeah. But then again, that doesn't surprise me. Yeah, I understand that mindset so well from everybody that I encounter. Ay, 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 ay. Yeah, no, nope. I can see why and where we're heading just with these people. By the way, the whole country I live in is just like that. Well, I shouldn't say not all, but a good many of them are so libtarded. No, they're retarded. I'll say it. They're retarded for supporting this clown we got today. Oh my gosh, that's a whole show in itself. Got to do
I,
that one
I
too.
treat them I treat
Oh,
them rather roughly on X.
yeah, well, good for you because you should, and everybody else
I'm
should
gonna
too.
I'm gonna actually have to go to your profile because you're not showing up in my algorithm right now.
Who, JC?
Um, yeah,
I
JC.
see him all the time
Look
posting stuff. I make
for
Yeah,
fun of
you
him.
got to
I'll,
look
I'll
for
look. I'll get it restarted.
counterfeit cash with a K.
Yeah, that's a good
I'll
one,
get
by
it.
the way.
I'll get it
Now that
restarted.
McConnell's pretty much on his way out, you can't use Mitch McConnell anymore. You got
Yeah,
to go.
he did have one last stand. That little Senate parliamentarian crap, that was him, I guarantee it.
Yeah, no, we did not doubt that.
It's a
We don't.
total parlor trick. And then pretend like you can't do anything about it when it would be very easy to do something about it.
Great game. Yeah, I do like the new name now, though.
Oh wait! I just heard all the people on Twitter go term limits, and I'm like, well, what are you
Yeah,
gonna do about it? It takes a
It need
constitutional
to have a
amendment.
the way we can get Alberta in that is if we have a convention of the states and we invite Alberta to join.
actually, absolutely. You know
Totally
what?
agree.
A lot of
Yeah.
provinces are already going that way. I think the whole West, British Columbia, Alberta, and Saskatchewan, all as one now, are all going at the same time. So we're picking up more steam as we go across the country. Southern Ontario, I'm trying to take that with us right out of here. Now let them cross
You,
in
you
Quebec somewhere instead of the
you
border in
bring you
Buffalo.
bring the water and we'll share the oil, both of our
Correct.
oil.
Yes,
Yeah.
we'll just all the water you want, you can have. We'll never run out. Have it all.
I'm
Hell,
not
we'll take your oil. We'll just refine it for you.
Hey, you know what? We've
okay.
always said that. That is the best. You know what? Because you already got the refineries. You got two of them right by there. It's be cheaper just sending it down there. You guys refine it and back up here or wherever you send it. It's just cheap, cheap, cheap. We don't have to build anything either. It's right there, right across the border. Two refineries. Couldn't get any
I do
better.
love I do love that pastor in Calgary, Artur Pawlowski. He's fantastic. I don't
I
know
do
if you've
too. Yeah.
seen anything
No.
from him. Yeah, true patriot.
He turned out to be a true Christian as well. Stuck to his guns and
Like,
didn't
gets
fold.
arrested all the time. I mean, he's like Calgary's Tommy Robinson. Yeah.
It's true. No, it's a good comparison right there. And yeah, we got another guy in Southern Ontario just like that too. Hildebrand, Henry Hildebrand. He stood his ground too. Now you're going to say, well, of course he's a Mennonite, type of thing. But still, he's still going to have the guts and courage to keep things, even when the cops are inside the church during service, which is against the law. He still stood his ground and got walked out, and arrested. But you know what? He did it. He went through it. He stood, on what he believed in. And I have to say, full credit to those guys for doing that and keeping the churches open. No country, no government was supposed to or allowed to close them down, but they did, except for a few that knew that's against the law, our Constitution, and I'm standing for what we're supposed to be doing, not following this crazed government, this libtard government that's trying to take. Yeah, so I had to say that.
Your, I hate to keep bashing on Canada, but your constitution doesn't give you
No,
civil liberties from the crown.
we finally
That's
And
figured
why.
I
that
like
out.
to, and I
That's
promise
why.
you, I've already told you,
Yeah,
this podcast gets watched in Canada. Canada, take heed. You need to declare independence from the crown.
yep.
Become your own
And,
country.
and join the convention of the states and have the state
Yeah,
legislatures all meet.
yeah.
Yeah, that's the way to
By
do it.
province, by county, we don't care.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about that
Trump,
next show instead.
Okay.
Trump's all made it clear he would take you in. It
Oh yeah.
starts as a territory,
Yeah.
right, until you prove you can have voting rights, and then we go from there.
You
Well, he's
know,
all he's all about it. And once again, the bedwetters are going on about. Well, don't you know that to be a blue state? I'm like, well, just shut up.
you know what? I was saying to the boys in this one space up here that we start flying American flags around this country. they're going to know something's up and how dissatisfied the people really are. When you start, throwing that Canadian flag down the sewer or wherever, I don't care, just in the garbage because it's worth nothing today. It's not the country we had, we grew up in. It's far from that. And people, well, the ones getting paid by the government are not going to acknowledge
Every
that.
time somebody stands up there, it's Doug Ford or Pierre Polivier. I just like, come on.
Yeah, I
What a
know.
world.
I know. Let's get some real people up here that can really fight back with some real
Yeah, like
fundamental issues.
the Reform Party guy up there. He was a good guy. I mentioned him last time. I have great admiration for him. The
Now,
90s.
oh yes, yeah. Well, he was the guy that started what we have the PC party now because it was progressive
Yeah.
conservative until I can't remember his name right now. Hold on a second. Stockwell Day. Stockwell Day started that, and now we just have a conservative. But yeah, that was the direction we should be heading into, and how we got away from that again, I don't know. But here we are. So yeah, I'm all for the 51st state, and just let's get the War of 1812 settled once and for all, Sean. Once that happens, we can pretty much say America's won and we're done with it now. England is back where it should be, which is pretty much broken apart now. Have you seen England, what it looks like today? We don't want to end up the same. Let's just distance ourselves, get rid of these failed liberal policies that we keep getting put on us, and be more like, the America, well, more like the country we should be, but more like America is today. So that's what I say and stand on. And yeah, I
All
know.
right. Yep. No. Let's do it. We are up against the clock. JC, you got anything real quick? Otherwise, we gotta go.
Preston Manning.
No, that's another guy. Yes.
I cheated. You saw me look it up.
Yeah. And you totally use ChatGPT too, because you're a cheater. Let's close it out. Good show, guys.
Great job. Yeah, actually, you know what? Talking more about the American government than I think the public to do.
Hey, how about that, Edward? Go up and get one last computer card 20 minutes before showtime.
Yeah, always right before showtime.
Like that ever works, right? But it did.
Close it out.